Hello, everyone, and welcome to Painless Universal, a conversation with myself and Welsh. Today, I'll be talking to lovely 26-year-old. And, you know, when you guys all meet her, you understand why I start with she's such a lovely girl. She's 26, and at the tender age of 21, she became paralyzed from the chest down. But she didn't stop there. She didn't let all her hope fade away. You hear so many people talk about, the pandemic. They've lost life. It's been going on for a very long time. It doesn't seem to end. Many young people already losing hope. And there's this lady. She was 21 when she became paralyzed. Obviously, it wasn't easy for her, but she'll be telling us about how she's transformed this. She's now 26 and she's living her best life. Of course, sitting down, as she describes it herself. She's doing all things that you and I would normally do, but she just has to sit down. I'm really excited to talk to her, for her to describe her disability and how that all started, and her hopes for the future, and her message to everyone else out there who might be feeling sorry for themselves, feeling that they can't go on to do the usual stuff they normally would do because of the pandemic. Let's not forget the pandemic, with all things being well, will only be temporary. But for her, she has to be in her wheelchair for the rest of her life, but she's making the best out of it. I can't wait for everyone to listen to her and hopefully you find your own joy and live painlessly. Meet Helen. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Painless Universal Conversation with myself and Welsh. I have the amazing, as I said in the intro, Helen here with me today. Helen, how are you?
I'm great, thanks. How are you?
I'm well. I'm well. Your story is so inspiring, and I think anyone who reads about you, follow your social media page, would be just so touched by how you've transpired your negativity of being in having a chronic illness, being in a wheelchair, but also finding your joy and still looking gorgeous every day. Before we even before we go into anything, I just wanted you to tell us a little bit about who is Helen.
So, I, at the age of 21, I was at home. I lived with mum and dad,
Mm.
and I had a really weird experience of a day. There was, the morning started normal. I had breakfast, I had a cup of tea in the morning, and I started to relax in my bedroom afterwards. When I was lying in my bed, all of a sudden I was struggling to breathe, and prior to this day, I'm super fit, super healthy. I was really sporty, active. I went to schools, voluntary, coached, and I was a really busy bee, and I worked full time. So, and I'd never been ill before. Like touch wood. Prior to this, I'd never suffered with anything. So I was struggling to breathe, and I was really confused, and I didn't know what was going on. So I rang my mum, and she was like, well, ring the doctors. And bearing in mind, it's not this is not something I would ring my mum for usually. So she knew that this was unusual. I called the doctors. I explained my symptoms, that I was struggling to breathe and my arms started to feel funny, but I wasn't sure if that was in my head or if they were feeling funny. But the doctors said that if I've got pains in my arms, I need to go to hospital right now,
Oh.
which panicked me. So in the heat of the moment, I ran downstairs looking for my parents, but I knew they weren't there, but I don't know why. I ran downstairs, I ran back upstairs, so I made my breathing worse. So I was hyperventilating even worse. And at this point, I don't know how I managed it, but again, I called my mum and I was screaming, crying down the phone, like, I can't breathe, I can't move my arms. I don't know what's going on. So they rushed back. Paramedics, first responder arrived first. um he calmed me down. The whole time I was lying in bed, so he calmed me down, got my breathing back to normal. Paramedics arrived, did all the tests, and they said everything's fine. I was like, I'm not okay. Like, I'm not somebody who falls ill easily. I've never even had like tonsillitis or an ear infection, so I was like, this is not okay. And I'm not going to go into too much detail about my experience because it wasn't positive, and I'll never forget how I was treated, how I was looked at. I could see in their faces. The same with when I arrived in A&E as well. Wasn't a great experience, but this was because nobody knew what was wrong. I didn't know what was wrong. They didn't know what was wrong. By the time I arrived in A&E, I fell off I was on the floor, and everybody was around. I had about 10 people around me, and they were like, "What's going on? You need to get up." And I was like,
Mm.
"I can't." And they were like, "But you need to get up." I was like, "I really, really can't." And I was just crying. And eventually they hoisted me onto the bed, and I had a specialist came down, and this guy was absolutely the only person that treated me like a human being, and he was so amazing. I know he stayed extra over his shift because this case was a bit of a mystery. They were like, what is going on? Had all the tests done. So this was a long diagnosis process, everything leading up to what it is I had and why it happened. They found out eventually after like 2 months of testing, and I physically couldn't move. So at the beginning, I was completely paralyzed. Couldn't move my arms, couldn't move my hands, couldn't move nothing. So I was being spoon fed. People were brushing my teeth. And I was just lying there, like, why can't I move? Like, I thought I was going to get better. I thought, it's a broken bone, it'll get fixed and I'll go carry on as normal. Um, 2 months of testing, and they were like, it's inflammation on your spine. I was just like, what? They were like, basically, your body thought there was like some sort of virus and it got confused, it attacked itself and completely shut down. Um, and I think at this stage, this was where I realized, okay, I'm not going to come back from this, and I started to go downhill mentally, physically, obviously everything. Um, so after that diagnosis and coming to terms with, I don't think I don't think I'm going to live the same life again. I thought my life was over. I then got transferred to a rehab place where you learn to live with this new life, let's say, and when I arrived there, I just started crying my eyes out. I just thought, oh no, my life's over. This is it. It's never going to be the same again. And I went in a real dark place, and I just didn't want to see anyone, speak to anyone. I didn't want to know anything. But here I am, 5 years later, back to normal me. So it's been a long journey, and it was a lot of,
Okay. But
lot of,
guys,
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
giving you all that. I'm giving you all of it because Helen, why I had to reach out to you because I have a chronic illness myself, and although I was born with my chronic illness, and you talked about the hospital treatment, it's also equally the same for people with chronic illness that were born with it as well, because they then think you're overdoing it while you're always constantly in hospital. I mean, come on, don't you know you have this illness? Can you not manage your pain? And I remember one time being in hospital, and the people at the A&E staff were like, wait for what? I couldn't talk anymore because I was just in excruciating pain. All I was thinking about is that would this pain go away? And what saddened me was that there was just not that compassion, empathy of understanding that I wasn't trying to make this up. I wasn't trying to seek any attention. I wasn't needy. I was just in pain. So there was that lack of education. So I see where you come from. You are someone who's never been to hospital as well. So there are we're two different ends of the stick here. You are someone who's never been to hospital, and all of a sudden, right, you go in expecting that they should understand where you're coming from, and all of a sudden they're looking at you like, child, get up, you're fine, and you are confused. You
yeah.
totally confused. How did your parents take it when they finally realized what was truly going on?
Oh my gosh, I think they were so hurt and so upset because my dad's like a fixer-upper. You give him any job in any field, he will give it a go. He'll fix it, he'll find a way. He's really good at everything like that. And I think for him, he didn't show it emotionally because I think men don't. But I knew he was hurt that he couldn't do anything to help fix or help me in
Mm.
any way apart from just being present, which family and friends have from the start. Like, I wouldn't have got so far without them, you know. And the same with my mum, you know, she just wishes she can always, and even to this day, she's still emailing and finding out and researching, like, not to fix my situation because I don't need it to be fixed, but to help me. And I
Mm.
know she's just trying her hardest, and it does get her down seeing her youngest, because I'm the youngest of three, seeing her, you know, a little baby going through what I'm going through because it's so life changing.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's such a life changing. Do they have a diagnostic for it? What do they eventually?
Oh yeah, sorry. So basically, it's called transverse myelitis. It's a very rare neurological condition. I think there's like 300 cases a year in the whole. I don't even know the stats because I don't look into things like that, and I'm not really. I don't want to know the ins and the outs and that, but I wish there was more research on there. But it's so rare that there's not enough of it.
Mm.
So people don't know if any kind of medication or what will help
Mm.
get you to the better stage of the life with it or even recover. Um, but the more popular one for what I went through, so a lot of people in the hospital will come across what happened to me, but it's called Guillain-Barré syndrome, which is a more common diagnosis. But yeah, basically, I'll never recover from this. I regained some movement in my arms. My hands, I still don't have like dexterity and like the function proper. So I can't, there's a lot of things I can't do with my hands, like basic daily tasks. But I either have assistance with that from people or I found a way around it. Like, there's always a way around everything to do it for yourself. I'm really stubborn and I really am like, no, I'm doing this myself.
I just love that. I love what you just said. You know what? There's always a way around anything if you really want to. Just don't kid yourself. There's a way around it, and I love that. I love that joy in you because you just yes, this has happened to me, but I've been through my downside, and I don't think it's nice being down either, because
No,
you make everything else worse. You make the illness worse. You make the your outlook on life worse. You make your reality worse, and it's just not nice being there. So when someone is being thrown with this harsh reality, it's good to be down because that down helps
yeah,
you realize that you don't want to be down again. It helps you.
absolutely.
It helps you get up. So in that on that note, you were 21. Were you at university? Were you working? How did this stop your life, and how did you regain it back again?
So when I was 21, I worked full time. I've had a lot of jobs, you know, I was a very busy bee. I kind of never stopped. If I wasn't working, I was voluntary coaching in schools. And if I wasn't doing that, I was just taking part in any sort of any free, not free work, but like I used to go into the stadiums and promotion, you know, like promotions and things. You know, I just had my life ahead of me and I could just do whatever I wanted whenever I wanted. And if I worked hard enough, I knew that I could get more joy out of life because I deserved that and I earned that. But so it came to an absolute halt when it came from that to this day, and then falling completely paralyzed and having to rely on others for everything, which was hard. And my darkest day I'll always remember was just breaking down because I just didn't feel like me and I wanted to be like me again. So I was crying to the physio and the OT, like, you know, I just want to look like me again. And they were like, well, what's important to you? And I was like, I just want to wear all the clothes I used to. I want to do my hair. I want to do my makeup. I want to go out with my friends. So that was my goal in rehab. Everyone has goals in rehab, and that was mine. So I started focusing on helping me inside and outside and how I wanted to feel on the outside, which made me feel better on the inside. And from that day on, I started meeting and reaching my goals. So being able to, brush my own teeth, being able to apply makeup. 'Cause obviously with my hand function, I can't quite
Mm.
open things and whatnot. So, but again, I worked hard at it. I got it, and I'm at the stage now where I can do so much more for myself, and it's from that day, and I get so much, like so much out of it. It's just
Was that is that what they call your aha moment? The moment that you realize that enough. I'm going
yeah,
through this, but I enough. I have to get myself out of it because no one really will come to save me. I'm not a Siamese twins, and I really have to do this for
yeah,
myself alone. What
yeah,
enough?
absolutely. I had to do it for myself, or no one else was going to be able to do it for me, and I was just not going to probably. I wasn't probably going to be around, but I wanted to be, because I had that independent fight that I wanted to have the same life again, but the only difference now is that I'm just sat down in a wheelchair. So I wanted to make a point of that, and I really wanted to get back there.
That's amazing. So, how are you finding your joy? Tell me, what keeps you busy, Helen, these days? How are you utilizing all your free time to do? Because you do so much, you are a motivational speaker. You talk to so many people. You use your social media platform to really talk about the importance of, no matter what life throws at you, you still find your joy.
Yeah.
So how are you doing all of that?
I think for me, I just focus on the small things. I know a lot of people on social media or whatnot, they constantly put out these amazing lifestyles and what they're getting up to every day. And they're like, delivering bang, bang, bang. And I sometimes look at them and think, wow, that's so for me, what I focus on is just the small things, because that will create the bigger goals, and we'll get there in the end. But it's so for me personally, what I focus on is myself and others, so like my friends and my family. So for me, I just like to make sure I'm always in contact with my friends, because you never know what people are going through. I've made so many new friends with this new lifestyle, and it's it's been the best thing that's ever happened to me, because I've met amazing people, and I love this life that I've got. We've got like a little community going on, and we're all facing the same things from different backgrounds, different disabilities, all things like that. But it's just nice to have that community. So what I do is just like make sure that me and my friends and family are okay. And that's all that matters. I don't care about the outside world, and I don't want to put falseness out there to pretend I'm happy and, make people jealous of this fake lifestyle. I don't post that much because I'm focusing on me. But for me, I love to just spend time with friends and family. Obviously, current situation, we can't do that,
Yeah.
but I do love this whole virtual encouragement that's brought people together. I attend a lot of other group calls on Zoom with different people and things like that. So it's just keeping the momentum going and having that chat and the laugh, and just making sure we're all okay. And yeah, just, you
Okay.
know,
Yeah, I love that. And recent pandemic with the coronavirus, so many youngsters have not been able to go to university, and a lot of them I've seen messages or I've read in newspapers that people feeling very down, that they
yeah,
haven't been able to go to the pub. They feel like they're running into depression, and their life is stopped. And there you are, including myself. We have chronic illness. You have this
yeah.
permanently sat down. You're still going and still finding your joy. What would your advice be to people like these young students to help them find their joy again, no matter what they're going through? Because at least this might be temporary, which we're hoping is temporary, and they might be able to go back to life again. What would your advice be or message be to them?
Yeah, so I spent a year in hospital, so my life was on hold. I couldn't go out, I couldn't see friends, I couldn't go to the pub, I couldn't go to work, couldn't go to school. But the most cliche thing is what the nurses used to say to me, oh, things will be better in time. And I hated hearing it, because I never believed my life would get better. So everyone who's struggling right now and thinking, oh my God, it's just so horrible, my life's never going to change and blah, blah, just know that, like, in time, things will get better, and it's exactly what you said, it's temporary. I Even before the pandemic, you know, I already lived this lifestyle anyway, being stuck indoors, couldn't go to lots of places, couldn't see friends. I'm disabled, and if I have to do anything, I need carers, which I don't get full time care. So I'm on my own a lot. I can't drive. I already am and do and still whatnot miss out on a lot. But I know that it's just temporary. Like, it's okay. Like, after this pandemic, things will resume normality. And what I look back on is, don't take it for granted. I took so much for granted before, and and now I know everyone going through what they're going through right now knows what's valuable and what they took for granted before, and they'll have a different outlook on life, and they'll appreciate life more and be more kind to others and themselves, because that's what I found. It's brought me down. I'm a lot more humble now, and I understand and I appreciate the little things a lot more, which a lot of people look past.
Mm.
But it's temporary. I hope to God people know it's just temporary. It's okay.
That's
Have the crap times now, because the good times will be even better, even better.
That is so true. Helen, our final message is that what's your plan for what next for Helen? Where should we look to find you once everything gets back to normal? What next?
Well, I attend a lot of charity events, but I'm not partnered with any specifically. I just turn up and raise awareness in any way, in any platforms, and I do a lot of TV work, and I'm going to continue to do the raising awareness with any sort of what barriers people face. I've signed with an agency, so they do a lot of TV and modeling work, so hopefully get my face out there a little bit more, and you know and improve on my confidence, and hopefully putting my face out there, I can join with my voice and have something to say positively for people and what we're going through, and make a difference in that way. But yeah, I'm just gonna keep being me. I'm not gonna make a massive goal that's unrealistic. I'm just gonna do what I enjoy and love doing, and just keep making myself happy, because it'll make others happy too.
That is so true. And it's like they always say, the saying goes, one day at a time. It's just
Yes.
we trying to rush it. I think before we all lived in this extraordinary fast pace. Some people could, I just some days were like, what the hell, what are
Yeah.
you doing? But I think I've now understood the concept is one day at a time, and each day you don't forget to breathe, don't forget to live, don't forget to laugh.
Yeah.
Ultimately, don't forget to love others like you love yourself. And I'm
Absolutely.
truly appreciate.
Yeah. It
Yeah,
starts from within. You can pretend to be happy or do this or do that, but the only person that really matters is yourself. So making sure that, because I've gone through a lot of mental health problems and down days and whatnot. So I just make sure that I'm okay first, and then life gets better each day, and then good things come, and then another week something else brilliant comes, and it's just like, see, this is just the domino effect. It gets much better.
absolutely. Thank you so much, Helen, for your time today. I wish you well. I'm so glad that and I'm having this conversation with you, and you have the biggest smile. You're so beautiful, gorgeous. And I'm so glad that you were able to do this in just 5 years. Most people will take them many, many years, and they'll keep living with that for the rest of their life. But you've been able to transpire yourself and say, you know what, this happened to me, but this is not going to be the only thing that I will utilize to define myself. Please
Absolutely.
keep shining. Many people need your voice, and keep motivating others. Thank you so much for your beautiful.
Thank you for having me. I've really enjoyed this. So thank you so much for inviting me.
You're welcome. Thank you, Helen.